Good morning, everybody, and welcome to STEM Inspiration Week. My name is Julianne Law. Just to let you know that your microphones and cameras have been switched off. Please keep them that way throughout the whole of the session, and this session is being recorded. The chat section section is also open, so please put any questions in there that you may have. If to test this function, it's really good to type what school you're from and how many students you have with you today, just so we can keep track of who we have. We have Anne-Marie Langford delivering this session today from the National Museum of Computing. Hi Anne-Marie, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm going to hand you over to Anne-Marie now, and she will give you a session on computing on the go.
Hello everyone. Before we get started, I wanted you to all give me a cheer, but you're not allowed to have your microphones on. So can I have a virtual cheer? If you could hit the reaction button when I say your name. Okay, just hit the reaction button and I will see you reacting. So Chalk Hills Academy, can you send me a reaction, either a thumbs up or a party popper or something like that? You can give me a cheer. I won't hear it, but hello, everyone. Excellent. How about Hills Road? Can you send me a reaction? We've got hand claps, thumbs up, love heart, crying, laughing, ooh, surprise, or party poppers. Can you send me a reaction? How about Stopsley High? Can you send me a reaction just on the bottom banner of your Zoom call? How about Oaklands College? Can you send me a reaction? Barnwell? Hello to everyone in Barnwell. Hello to everyone from Ashcroft High. Hello to everyone from Weatherfield, and hello to everyone from Watford Boys. And if I haven't mentioned your name, you're here as an individual student, a very warm welcome and hello to you also. So you're here to find out about computing on the go. Can you tell me then, who has a mobile phone? Just type yes, or students, if you're in a big group, stick your hands up. The teacher can count you and you can tell me how many students in your class have a mobile phone. Okay, all of them have got a mobile phone. 12 have got mobile phones, 20. No one has got a mobile phone in that particular group. You're not allowed them in college. Well, very sensible too, but do you have them? Do you have them at all? Great. But you've all probably used one and you probably know what they are. So I'm now going to share you this PowerPoint and we're going to have a think about what our mobile phones do for us on a daily basis. Right, can you all see that PowerPoint? Let me just...
Yeah, it's very clear here, Anne-Marie.
Lovely. Okay, well, if you can see it, that's great. My Zoom window's gone a little bit strange, or I can just see pictures of people. I can't see the whole window. Okay, where is it? Sorry, bear with me. My Zoom window's being a tad on the strange side. Okay, so I've just got pictures of people, but I haven't got pictures of my screen. Hang on. Okay, I think I've got it. All right, so thank you for bearing with me, everyone. So this is computing on the go. You have got 5 minutes in your groups to think about smartphones, how smartphones work. Then I'm going to put the whiteboard up and you can write down your conclusions or share them in the chat. So are you guys ready? I'm going to start the clock now, and you have 5 minutes to think about as many things as possible that a smartphone does. Off you go.
Anyone got any answers? Just go into the chat. That's quite fine. Keep going. We've got
Excellent. So someone's already come up with compass, which is amazing. You can phone people, you can play games. You've got a calculator. You've got camera. Camera's a good one. GPS. Excellent. COVID track and trace. That's a good one. A translator. Excellent. That's right. You can use a translator. There's WhatsApp. You have research apps. I wonder what that could be. You can take notes. You can follow your stocks. You can follow news. You can do social media, Google, videos. Download apps. What kind of apps can you download? Excellent. Exercise, YouTube, music, gaming, pictures, fitness. So there's loads of things that we can do with there's loads and loads of things that we can do with Hi, are you still there?
Yeah, we're here.
Excellent. You can access the internet. You can email. Oh, heart monitor. There's some really good suggestions coming through here. Any more? Yeah, that's right. Keep them coming. You can use it to put on your makeup. You can use it to pay. That's right. So you can use it like an electronic wallet to pay as a credit card if you've forgotten your credit card at home, and then you can use it there using pay. You can use it to order taxis. These are all excellent suggestions. Okay, you guys have excelled, so I'm not going to give you the full 5 minutes because you've already given me heaps. We've got holiday suggestions, we've got Uber, we've got food, we've got contact payments. So there's absolutely heaps of things that you can do with your smartphone. So let's think about how this smartphone works. You've got a whole bunch of different components. You've got the hardware. Now the hardware is divided up into lots of things. So you've got the processor. The processor is like the computer's brain. It does all the thinking. It carries out all the logic. The screen is a bit like the computer's face, or well, it's a screen, isn't it, of a computer. So you can read it, you can have a look on the screen and see and find your information there. And that is where your display is. Then you have memory. So anything you want to run from your phone is there as part of the smartphone's memory. What else can you keep on your smartphone memory? Any suggestions? Would you like to put them in the chat? What else might you keep on your smartphone's memory? Your apps, photographs, pictures, notes, music, formula. I love it. Great. You might keep your personal details. So you might save your passwords and logins on there, but you probably want to do that in a secure way. The operating system. Yes, that's right. So you need that hardware memory to keep the software on there. So memory divides into several different sorts. You've got your random access memory, you've got your cached memory, and you've got hard storage. And what do you need to keep it all going? It needs energy. So you need a battery and a camera, which is like the phone's eye. So we're looking at then at your software. So we talked a lot about apps, didn't we? We're very, very keen on apps when it comes to smartphones. It's our way of personalizing our smartphone. Jelly, that's a mysterious response. I love it. Yes, Jelly, operating system, of course, that's right. So Jelly, Kit Kat. We're going to name all the Android operating systems now, are we? Fantastic. So your apps are your way of personalizing your smartphone. And we've already named heaps of different apps, haven't we? eBay, fitness apps, social media apps. It's loads. We could be here all day just naming apps. Then you've got your operating system. So this is what everything plugs into, what makes it work. And some people were saying Google, surf the internet. So you've got a web browser and you've got connectivity. So these are all software. So what I mentioned before was the hardware, physical things that you could touch. And now what we're talking about is the software. So these are programs, programming language, which makes your smartphone do things. Then we have these weird things that are kind of in the middle. Sort of software and hardware. So things like Wi-Fi. What do we use Wi-Fi for? Do you want to pop that in the chat for me? What does connecting? That's right. And what does Wi-Fi stand for? Does anyone know? Excellent. Internet, wireless. That's right. Stands for wireless communications. We then have another way of connecting, which is called Bluetooth as well. So, you know, the Bluetooth symbol is a little rune, isn't it? And that's a way of connecting devices to each other that are next to each other. And then you have this thing called near field communications. Has anyone heard of that? NFC, near field communications? Can anyone tell me what that does? It's a really tricky one. So this is what you use if you're using Apple Pay or Android Pay. That's right, Barnwell School, you've got it for payments. Exactly. Smashing. So I'm going to show you now that was brilliant work. Well done, everyone. I'm going to show you now some objects from our museum. And these objects fulfill similar functions to things that your smartphone does. So what I'd like you to think about is what these objects are made of. What do you think that they do? How different are they to the modern versions? And what do you use now instead? So here the items are, and I'm going to give you a slide that has these items A, B, C, D, E, F to U. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to name them in the chat. Tell me what you think they'll do. And then we might pick on some very specific ones that are particularly mysterious and talk about what they are. Oh, am I not showing my screen? Hold on a second. I thought I was sharing my screen. There we are. That's slightly embarrassing. There we go. Right. So hopefully you can see that now.
Explain what they've got to do again, Anne-Marie.
Okay, so can you all see the pictures of the mystery objects? That's it. Just shout yes if you can. Can you all see the objects? Can I make it a little bigger? I'm not sure because I'm sharing through Zoom.
Right, we're getting some coming through now.
Excellent, lovely. Okay, right. So you're absolutely right. B is a typewriter. And we'll have another look at A. Now, we've got personal organizer, lovely. Cassette recorder. Camera, fantastic. F, floppy disk, smashing. G, vinyl record, fantastic. I like that. Someone said banana phone.
Great.
It does look like a banana. Or brick, banana or brick phone, fantastic. L is a camera. It's another form of camera. We'll talk about that. Ooh, someone thinks H is a music school. Q is a CD. R is a cassette. U is a calculator, very early form of calculator. M is a computer room full of mainframes. Yes, you're correct. S, sellotape. Oh, interesting. Right, while you're still guessing, I might just run and get these actual objects to lift up because sometimes the pictures are a little bit misleading. So you keep guessing, keep posting your answers on the chat and I will come back to you.
Can anyone guess what O is? That looks interesting.
Excellent, excellent. There are some fantastic guesses here. I think you've had a stab at most of them. So why don't I? And for the most part, they've all been correct. So well done, everyone. You've done a really magnificent job there. I've just run to get. Can you all see me now? I can't see if I'm lined up properly.
Yeah, we can see
Great.
you.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I'm just going to rummage in my magic box now because I think the pictures haven't been really amazingly clear. But I have got the actual objects, and these are objects that we use in school visits. So you can actually get quite close to these objects and see what they're all about. But I've just hidden them out of your view so that I don't spoil the surprise. So, let me stop. Oops. Let me stop sharing so that I can see. I need to see me.
If I can ask everybody to put it on speaker view if they can, then you'll see Anne-Marie slightly larger.
I think you're as the, oh, well, if I start talking, hopefully you should see me. All I can see is you, Helen. So
yeah, that should be, if everyone goes onto the view in the top right hand corner,
yeah.
and
Can you
clicks
all
that
see
and
me?
it will be bigger.
Lovely. Okay, so object A then is this beauty here. Can you all see that? So this is a mechanical calculator. So the first electronic calculator comes out in about 1967. If you wanted to do large sums before then, you'd have to use this bad boy. And it's a hand-cranked mechanical system. So you'd load the numbers that you wanted to add or take away, and then you'd turn the handle the number of times that you wanted to add or take away. And the same with multiplication and division, because multiplication is just really addition, but on a larger scale, and division is taking away. So there were lots of tricks that mathematicians used at the time and shortcuts, and they got very, very adept at using these things. But we've never really, I've never seen one before I started working here. And as I said, the first mechanical calculator came out in about 1967, and my colleague, who was a rocket scientist for the Ministry of Defence, he had his first job, and he managed to persuade his boss to get him an electronic calculator, and it cost the equivalent of 2 months' salary for him. But what it meant was that he was so much quicker at doing his sums that he was able to make up the money that it cost them to buy that. Nowadays, you've got an electronic calculator. You can buy them in pound shops, can't you? They're really easy to come by. But who even buys calculators? Because they're on our mobile phones. So the next thing that we're going to look at is, oops, let's kill that. And my PowerPoint has disappeared, so I can't remember. F. F being, let me see. What was F? F. Oh, floppy disk. Now, can anyone tell me why it's called a floppy disk? Because it's floppy, that's right. But then, as floppy disks get smaller, they continue to be called floppy disks. Because obviously the magnetic disk inside is floppy, even though it's in a hard shell. So the next guess we had is L, and that was a camera. So we've got here our box brownie. It has 2 modes. It has portrait mode and landscape mode. There's no filters on here unless you physically use a filter over the lens. You have to stand and look through the viewfinder here. Can you see that? I might have dropped it down too much. The viewfinder's here or here. And you get 15 exposures per film. You're right, Colin. They were called diskettes, but people more commonly did refer to them as floppy disks. So can we both be right? And here's one, an early digital camera. With an enormous lens, and that's the lens it came with. That's not even an added one. So the next thing I want to show you is F. Now somebody said, oh, I don't have it. Is it a music score? And it's actually a punch card. So this is paper tape, and this has an early form of computer program on it. And the punch cards, that was image H, that is a punch card, and it has data on it. So About 50,000 a day were used at Bletchley Park when they were code breaking. You have 5-bit binary tape, like that. So the information is encoded into bits, zeros and ones, and it's fed into the machine and it is read in the machine mechanically. And then when electronic computing comes along, everything's done electronically through electronic pulses, so it's a lot easier. So the last thing I wanted to show you was somebody guessed that image S was sellotape. And this is a really good guess because it doesn't give you, the picture doesn't give you any idea of the scale. But if I lift it up just now, I'm going to have to stand up and look after my back. Well, I give you a sense of that. That is pretty enormous. And that is a set of magnetic disks. This was used as memory storage. Would anyone like to guess how much memory storage is on this baby here? Have a wild guess and pop it in the chat. 16 bytes. Barnwell say 1 gigabyte. Any other? I'd love to see some guesses from Hills Road, Stopsley, Barnwell. 100 megabytes. I love it. Great. What for boys? 25 megabytes. You guys are on the nose. So if you guess 25 megabytes, you are correct. That is, could you imagine? Now, if you have a mobile phone, how many kilobytes storage do you have in your mobile phone? I think I've got maybe 32, something like that, maybe 64. Does anyone know how much storage they have on their mobile phone? Can you pop it in the chat? 256 million kilobytes. So what would that be in gigabytes, I wonder? 256 gigabytes, yes. That's probably about the average, isn't it? Smartphone capacity. So that means if we scale this up math-wise, how many of these would you need to lug around with you to get the equivalent storage for your mobile phone? You're probably going to need to take a truck or 5 with you wherever you went, because you're looking at thousands, if not millions of these. So some brave soul has said 10,500. Someone's given me the answer in tons. I love it. 10 tons, possibly. Yeah. It's a lot, isn't it? It's a mind-boggling number. I don't even want to go there, really. But that gives you an idea. So I just wanted to round off then by talking to you about some of the wacky ways that they dealt with storage. So this object here is called core store. So this has tiny little cores, or iron rings, ferrite rings, I should say. And it has wires. I'm going to bring it right up close. Sorry. It has these tiny little wires and these cores. And the wires pass through them and they can be magnetized one way or the other. Sorry, so who's correct? Who's correct? Using this, but core store was used in Apollo spacecraft. Yes, that's correct, it was. So they were magnetized, electromagnets used for storage. And although we don't use core store anymore, the principle is fairly similar. It uses electromagnetism. Okay, so let's have a think about these mystery items now. If I go to share my screen. Again, let's have a think about which ones would be used for storage, which ones would be used for entertainment, and which tools would be used to perform a specific task, like an app. So I'm going to put the pictures up again. And what I'd like you to do is to sort them. If you could, I don't know, get a piece of paper and put them into 3 columns. So you've got storage, entertainment, and app. Can you guys do that for me? And then put the letters under the headings. And I'll just give you a couple of minutes to do that. Then when you've done that, if you can put them in the chat. So storage, letters, 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 entertainment, letters, letters, and apps, letters, letters. Oh. Is it not sharing? Let me. Sorry, everyone. There we go. Can you see that now?
Yeah, can see that. Thanks, Anne-Marie.
Excellent.
Couple of answers coming through. Wait for a few minutes.
Yeah, we'll give everyone a chance to have their say.
We've got some great guesses coming through now.
Lovely. Fantastic, Oakland. Some great guesses there. Oh, yes, I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. So... Now, some could be both. I probably should have given you that as a hint, but some could actually be both.
Colin has said that. S is storage, so for music too, which is great.
And apps. Oh, I love it, Oaklands. Yeah, communication. We've almost forgotten what our phones do, haven't we? So communications, old school. We use a phone to communicate. And also typewriter, because you can send written messages. Superb. So there's some fantastic guesses. I'm going to take you through them now so that you all know the right answers. So storage, if you guys are ready. For storage, you've got F for the floppy disk, you've got G. Vinyl's really a form of storage, isn't it? You're storing information in the form of music. N, that's a paper tape. H is also storage, that's the punch card. You've got J as well, that's another image of paper tape there. You've got K, the diskettes or floppy disks. You've got O, this is an image of core store, as is T. You've got Q. CDs were very often used to store computer programs, as were cassettes in R. So they would store music and they would store computer programs. S and T are also forms of storage. So excellent, good work, everyone. And then in terms of entertainment, Oakland have said D for the cassette player, which is correct. E, camera, it's always good fun to take pictures. G, the vinyl record, and Q, the CD player. And you also have this mysterious object R, which is a cassette player, again used to play music or store a computer program. So well done, that was magnificent work. So what is O, someone's asked me? That's core store up close. So that's the old-fashioned form of computer memory. So in terms of apps then, things that we would now have as apps on our phone, they're things like the organizer, C, a music player, E, the camera, G, again, music player, K, memory storage, R, music. These are all things that have become apps on our mobile phone. So it's amazing, really. I've got this massive box and I've got this stuff all around me, all over the floor. But actually, all these things fit in a tiny thing that just fits in the palm of our hand, which is our mobile phone. So it really, hopefully, makes you think a little bit about how far computers have come, really, in the last 70 years. So the National Museum of Computing, could you guys tell me if any of you guys have visited us? It'd be really interesting to see that. Has anyone been to the National Museum of Computing? Barnwell School, I know we see you every year, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. And I think we see Oaklands as well sometimes every year, if it's the same Oaklands. And so some of the students have been to visit. Excellent. So yes, hopefully you'll come and see us again soon. We'd love to see you. The museum is open to the public at the moment, and we are good to go, COVID safe, Visit England compliant, and we are welcoming school visits. We're doing them COVID safe, so one at a time, so you can stick to your bubbles and all of that sort of stuff. So if you want to get in touch, I will just share a few details about what we're up to, because we've been doing lots of exciting things actually lately. I've just gone to the wrong area, which is really helpful.
Whilst you're looking it up, Anne-Marie, I think we can all say that was a really great interactive presentation, and it's really good to see visually how far things have come in computing in the last 70 years.
Yeah.
It's
70
not until you
years.
have that visual. It's really, really great. If anyone's got any questions that they want to pop in the chat, that would be really good.
That would be
for Anne-Marie
great.
to
Yeah,
answer
I'd love to have your questions. I'll be doing a lot of talking, and I do like to hear other people's voices.
What is really scary, Anne-Marie, is I'm looking at some of those items and finding that I used to have to use them myself.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I learned on.
So to the young people out there, there will come a point in your life when you go to a museum and you go, oh, I had that. Try not to be depressed.
And the way technology, absolutely, the way technology is advancing, it won't be that long either.
So I just wanted to tell you a little bit about what we're up to at the museum. So working with our partners in CoSpaces, we are giving you the opportunity to have a free trial. So what you can do is you can explore Block H, which is the museum, the building in which the museum is housed. And during World War II, that was the world's first purpose-built computer centre. So you can explore that in a virtual environment, and you can add things, you can do all sorts of things. It's great. There's the web page, and I'm going to ask our friends at STEM Inspiration Week to forward these details on to you so you can access that content. The other thing I want to let you know is I've already said a little bit that we're open to the public, but if you're finding it tricky and you don't want to take your young people out on a visit, you can come and visit us remotely, and we've got loads of resources happening. We actually have an online museum tour, and we've got activities and all sorts of things, so we can be fully interactive. It involves quizzes, it involves doing stuff, and then we view the stuff your end and our end, and we put heaps of work into setting up our remote learning package. So do get in touch with me if you want any more information about that. I'm just going to have a look in the chat because I've got some good questions. So let's have a look. Any questions? Have I just blinded you all with science?
I think you might have done, yes. It was really informative, though.
Yeah, you obviously covered everything, Anne-Marie, so that was good.
Do any of the young people? Oh, hang on. Right. Oh, excellent. I love it. Okay, so where did you get such old machines? What an excellent question. Thank you for that. So the museum houses the Which is the world's oldest working electronic computer. And we got that via the Birmingham Museum of Science and Industry. So many of the museums are donated to us. Some of them, such as the Bomb and Colossus and Heath Robinson, are rebuilds. So what people did, engineers and historians worked, and a lot of these people were volunteers, and they felt that it was really important to preserve our digital heritage. So they rebuilt these machines from scratch, and they went on a hunt basically looking for documents, information, because at the end of the Second World War, all of these machines were scrapped. Because the work was top secret, they didn't want people to find out about it. But then after 70 years elapsed, the Official Secrets Act elapsed, and where it was in our national interest to declassify this information, we could do so. And when we did, we found out these amazing stories about the code breaking that happened in Bletchley Park, and we were able to go on a hunt, piece together the historical information, and rebuild the machines. So some of the earlier code-breaking machines are what we call rebuilds or replicas, and some of them were donated to us. So Oakland School have asked us if these are BBC machines behind me, and yes, in fact, they are. A lot of them are donated to us, so these are original machines. And when you come to visit us, you can try coding on a BBC machine for real, and it's quite exciting. They make a really wonderful sound. So from Chalk Hill Schools, are these still useful today? So the machines that we have, a lot of them do run, and what we hope, are you talking about the BBCs, or are you talking about all the machines?
Probably all of them, I should imagine.
Yeah, so if you're talking about all the machines, they are varying amounts of usefulness, and basically they are used to demonstrate how old computers would work. But we have an ambition, for example, to get EDSAC so that students can write programs on EDSAC, bring them in, and then run them and see them. And the same with the Which, you could actually write a computer and run it on the Which machine. Very, very simple. They use a form of assembly code, so a form of binary or hex, and you can write it in. Now, when it comes to the BBC machines, yes, you can have a lot of fun with BBC machines. One of the sessions that we do regularly is we have a game of Snake. So we get the students to program a game of Snake, and then they can play it, and it's tremendous fun. The other thing they can do is create a program to map the trajectory of rockets. So you can put in the angle of the thrust, the speed of the thrust, you can put in direction, all of these sorts of things. So are there any computer resources available that we could use, perhaps to download? So if you visit our learning pages and go to the remote learning pages, we've put a few free resources on there that you can use. So there's a link to an online BBC emulator. There's some programs and things that you can use as well. Some of the stuff that we have created is unique to us, so it's part of our learning offer. So we don't necessarily give that away, because obviously we want you to come and visit us so that we can share this stuff with you for real in the flesh. So yeah, things like our programs and things, you have to come to us to get them from us. But we have put quite a lot of our resource online for you to access. Does anyone have any other questions? Did Alan Turing work where you were? So yes, there is historical evidence which proves that Alan Turing worked on Bletchley Park. He famously worked kind of more over there. So I am currently sitting in Block H, and Block H was famous for housing the Colossus machines. The Colossus machines were used to hack Lorenz messages. Now, Lorenz machines were used to encrypt messages sent between Hitler and his generals. So these were messages used to talk about tactical information by German high command. So these were really, really important messages. Enigma messages, pretty important. They talked about what was happening on the ground on a day-to-day basis. So they were pretty important for us to track, because we knew what the German army was doing on a day-to-day basis via Enigma. But once we started hacking Lorenz messages using Colossus, we knew what the generals were thinking and what they were planning, and that enabled us to be 3 steps ahead of them. And we actually have historical evidence which shows that Colossus messages, or the decrypting of Lorenz messages using Colossus, was instrumental in helping us to win the D-Day battles, because we had messages sent by those generals. So in answer to your question, did Alan Turing work here? He did work here. He didn't necessarily work in Block H, but that doesn't make the work that happened here any less important. And of course, Alan Turing's work is fundamental to the development of electronic computing. And a lot of the principles embodied in the machines here were based on Alan Turing's work. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to all the schools that have joined us. If you haven't got any more questions, thank you to Chalk Hills, Hills Road, Stopsley. Thank you to Oakland. Thank you to Barnwell. Thank you to Ashcroft High. Thank you to Weatherfield and Watford Boys. It's been great chatting with you via the chat. And if you would love to join us, please do. You can come and visit us physically, or if that's a bit too hard to organise, you can come and visit us virtually as well. We have our remote learning offer. So do visit our website. I'm just going to scroll down. Hopefully, am I still sharing? Yes, I am still sharing. You can see where it says find out more. Do feel free to take a picture of that and use those resources.
All this information will be available on the website. The presentation will be saved and uploaded there in the next week or so, so all the schools can go back and refer to that.
Then before you leave, can I ask you to complete the Google form for us that we put on for feedback for this session? We won't take any details from you. We just want to find out so that we can forward this to Anne-Marie, and also to do any more further STEM inspirational weeks to share with students across the East of England. So thank you all for joining us today. If I can ask Anne-Marie to stay on the call, and while everybody's just finalising, that would be fantastic. Thank you for joining us.
Great to see you all today.
Thanks, Anne-Marie.
Thank you. See you again soon.